Honey, where are you going?
Where are you going?
Again? Just where are you going?
Where are you going? You're not going to the bar again, are you?
You like hanging out, drinking beer at the bar, talking sports? Come on out and join us weekly. Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, your podcast for just that. Hanging out, drinking some beer, talking sports. Hey everybody, thanks for listening to Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. We're broadcasting from beautiful Columbia, South Carolina, home of College Gameday this weekend, ESPN's College Gameday. They are coming to Columbia probably because they know that the Guys at the Bar Talking Sports records here. They're trying to compete against us, but but we'll let them try. I might even be
trying to take our fan base.
They're trying to take our fan base exactly. So if you are listening and you want to see us at the game, I'm going to be out there probably waving our flag that we just got for Guys at the Bar Talking Sports this weekend. So hope to see people out there. We have a great week of college football lined up for you. Some college football talk about week 3. Who's going to win? What teams are looking at an upset? And which fans are going to be burying their playoff hopes on Sunday after Saturday's over with. So there's a few teams that buried their playoff hopes, I think, by now. You would assume one of those is Florida State, but I'd love to hear what other people say about that as well. Who knows? But after this weekend, I think it's going to start determining which teams are going to be, going for a playoff berth and which teams are not. While you're listening to the show, you can subscribe to the show. Consider a review of the show on your favorite podcast app. We like ratings and reviews. Have you ever done it? If not, get to it right now. Some people like to support our bad habits with beer money. They also like to support our bad habits with some bourbon money. Some people don't want to support our bad habits at all because they don't want to support our beer and bourbon habits. But we do need a new microphone for the show. We need some recording equipment. So if you want to send us a Venmo for that or beer money, we will spend it accordingly. The Venmo is Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. So anyway, let me go ahead and introduce everybody for the show today. How about that? We have my man, the mountain man himself, the Mountaineer, Mountain Mama, Country Road. How's it going today?
It's going great. Thanks for getting my name right.
West Virginia, how are they looking this week?
We got Pitt, backyard brawl. I am very nervous. Pitt's run defense is bad. We run the ball good. Our passing defense is terrible, and Pitt throws the ball pretty well. So it could be a high-scoring, heartbreaking afternoon for me, I'm afraid.
Rebel! How's it going, man? You were at the App State game.
That was a game?
That was... I don't know.
I don't know if you heard... when I was driving over here, I had the radio on. Clemson just scored another touchdown.
So I thought that I literally, when I'm watching the game, I was at the bar with Chris, and I'm thinking, am I just watching, every time I looked at the TV, I saw a score, so I'm thinking to myself, are they just doing replays of scores? But no, it was like 2 or 3 scores back to back to back. It was insane.
I read today. Again, our problem, honestly, was we had 2 safeties that had no idea what they were doing. We are not that bad, but our safeties were... He was 24-26 passing. 10 of his passes were 20 yards or more.
Yeah.
The first 3 touchdowns, we had them 3rd and long. They threw 2 bombs and then broke a 60-yard run. So, their first 5 scores were for over 40-yard plays.
It's insane.
It was big plays, and big play after big play. And then you add to the fact of, I think in the first 3 drives, we had 6 drop balls. When I say drop balls, I don't mean, he got a finger on it. Hits them in the hands for first downs and goes to the ground. So, I don't know if they just weren't ready. I don't know if the game was just too big for them. But either way, I've never been embarrassed at an Appalachian State football game like I was Saturday.
Does it change your opinion about that Liberty game that's coming up soon?
No, because Liberty almost lost to New Mexico State. They had the lead for 55 seconds of that game. No, it doesn't change it a bit.
All right. I was just curious. I know. I was watching the game. I was keeping an eye on that game, and I was like, "Oh crap!"
If not for a fumble, scoop, and score,
I'm gonna be freaking getting things my ass handed to me on Tuesday.
I was revving it up. I was like, "You got to be kidding!"
I was just waiting to go all the way, don't you?
Yeah, I still have Liberty going all the way, even when they play App State. But hey, yeah, a nice little butt kicking for Clemson there, Chief. What did you think about that?
Well,
I'm sure you were happy.
I was happy. Sorry, Dave, but I was worried about your blood pressure. Here's the thing. Clemson got their ass kicked by Georgia. Clemson had to come out and show super strong or nobody would take them seriously the rest of the season.
And I think people said, they made them say, It was one of those things that made them say,
Exactly.
Because they were like, but then again, it's App State. You expect to beat them by a lot. But not that much anymore, right?
App State,
they recruit well. They're a spoiler, so you expect to beat them.
I thought it was going to be a 10-point game.
I'll tell you honestly, don't read in that game because I'm telling you how they were scoring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was obvious.
I could go out there and cover the receiver as well as our safeties for it. I'm not exaggerating that. So
it was obvious.
We made Clemson. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not trying to take any away from them. They kicked our ass up one side down the other and came back for seconds. But
we made them look way better than what they are. Basically, their team speed was just that much more than ours. The reason Georgia did what they did to Clemson was because they could match up team speed for team speed and probably were faster. Clemson's problem is going to be when they run up against fast teams. That's because up front, I mean, physical-wise up front, we stayed with them. That was my concern because we're very small up front. But they just ran past our defensive backfield. So you get good safeties, good corners that can run with those receivers. I think, what does Clemson really have? Don't know. The problem is they're playing in the ACC. We won't find out for a few weeks.
All right, so we got my man Chopper here.
What is going on?
Auburn was not looking like
Who?
the team. Auburn, yeah, who? Exactly. Who? Are they in the SEC? Are they even in the SEC anymore?
Hey, they still have a chance to win the SEC.
They do have a chance to win the SEC.
I saw an interesting
They still
video.
do. They can turn it all around,
Hey,
can't they?
you watch. Watch.
I saw an interesting video today,
Yeah.
and no disrespect to Auburn. I don't have a dog in that fight. I'm indifferent to Auburn. Somebody went through and used some sort of metrics to say since the college playoff started, the most overrated teams based off where they starting rank was and where they actually finished, and Auburn was the number one most overrated team in the college football
Wow.
playoff. Period.
Overrated?
Overrated. Meaning
Overrated.
Where they started and where they end up would end
I
every
thought
year.
we've been starting pretty low.
Well, apparently,
Maybe not.
I mean, I think they're
Maybe
saying like if you were
overtime.
preseason ranked,
Since
like
college playoffs
since the
started.
playoffs started.
Okay, because
Huh.
but then again, 2013 was it 2011 or 2012 when y'all won the national championship?
2010.
2010.
The
So
playoffs
and then
started, 2 years after.
soon after, but they
Yeah.
still had a relatively good team through that, and then they probably get most of that from
I thought it was going to
2014,
be Notre
15,
Dame.
16.
Like you made me bet. I'm like, oh, it's Notre Dame. They're like, no,
We
it's
have a
Auburn.
good team now, and we just had a bad game. We got outsmarted.
Yep. Well then,
And
I'm looking forward to seeing how they continue to play.
That's right. Getting back to the whole Clemson App State thing, does that mean Georgia is that good?
Georgia might be that good, yeah. Or
Take that away.
it was just one game, like you
Yeah,
just said.
I know.
You never know. The Gators, though, we got our one win of the season. My expectations, they've exceeded my expectations for the season. If we get one more win, I'm going to be thrilled. So, hey, all y'all Gators fans, chomp, chomp, all right?
I do have a question for Chopper.
Yes, sir.
Did you donate any money through Venmo to get any lost bets back to the quarterback of Auburn? Have you seen that?
I saw that, but no, I did not make any.
Have y'all seen that?
I did see that.
Fans are sending Venmo requests to the
Peyton
quarterback of
Thorne.
Auburn, getting money
Peyton
back
Thorne.
for bets they lost.
Dirty.
Oh, jeez, that's hilarious. All right,
Dirty.
so let's jump into the show, shall we? Let's
That's
go.
all we had. Let's get on with it.
Well, that was introduction. I changed the introduction system around a little bit because we all have our fans. We're all fans of certain teams. Rather than talking about the random drink that you're drinking, let's talk about our teams, right? And then I don't have to talk about the Gators the entire freaking show. So
That's a good thing.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a good thing. Yeah, it'll
we,
take
don't
a
want
little
you to,
relief.
we don't want you to cry and use a whole box of tissues again.
That's right. Okay, so there's a lot of non-hype this season around Colorado. You didn't hear it leading into the season. You barely hear it now because they're not really doing that well. But man, there was a lot of hype over Shedeur Sanders this week. Maybe I created some of that.
No, you're just
I don't
saying what
know.
everybody's been thinking. I mean, look, the hype last year, the shiny penny got tarnished very quickly when people realized they were a lot of talk. And so coming in this year, there was no expectations. And now it sounds like there's just a bunch of whining. I mean, it's just excuses as to why they're not good. They're not a good football team.
But am I being too hard on Shedeur?
No,
well,
no, absolutely
Okay, because I had people yelling at me on Facebook about this. And
I mean, my thing is this: he's a kid, right? So they're going to make.
he's not a kid. He's 22.
But still, at 22, I'm still doing some stupid shit sometimes
Well,
too.
of course,
My
yeah.
point being, the problem I have here is with Daddy.
Yeah,
Daddy ought to be reining that in. Like, you want to be a pro, conduct your business like a pro, and you don't throw your offensive line under the bus if you're a pro. You don't walk off the field before the end of the game if you're a pro. You don't try to make the entire program coddle to what you want played music-wise when you score a touchdown if you're being a pro. I do blame him. I blame Deion worse. Deion has created this monster, and he's just letting it run free, and it's going to be to the detriment of that team regardless of what his skill
How do
set
they
is.
turn that around?
I don't think they,
They
do.
have to. They have to though. Deion has to turn that around.
It's
that,
damage.
that whole image because it's
Yeah.
going to be a dumpster fire
I
going forward if he
agree.
doesn't.
Forget about the wins.
has to turn it around.
Forget about the wins.
Yeah.
Dion and them are all about clicks and about. This is a marketing gig to get Shedeur drafted. Now look, Shedeur's not that bad. Okay, I thought last year, I thought he was a lot better of a teammate last year. He didn't talk as much. Now he's suddenly talking. It's not my fault. All this kind of stuff. But I think the only way to turn around now is for him to keep his mouth shut, go out and continue to play because he can get drafted. He has
good.
talent to
Yeah,
get
he's
drafted,
good.
and not throw people under the bus and show that he can be the professional. Caleb Williams did that last year. People had questions about Caleb Williams' junior year, painting
point.
nails, F Notre Dame, and all this kind of crap. And then he goes out last year, cuts his hair, looks all businesslike.
Played terrible.
Played terrible, but was still the number one draft pick because people recognize the talent.
That's right.
He kept his mouth shut. So I think that's what Shedeur's got to do.
He's got to.
But he's already he's into the season, sorry. He's into the season, whereas at least Caleb Williams figured out in the offseason, like, hey, this season I'm going to, play like crap, but I'm going to be more professional.
Caleb Williams was a Heisman Trophy winner. Shedeur Sanders was not. It is a big
No.
deal.
Too early to predict an upset in this show.
It's way too early to predict an upset. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And the next time they win or win big, he's got to be humble about it, right?
Absolutely.
You just got to walk off and not.
His job going
Yes.
forward is you got to be a teammate.
There's not a
right.
humble bone in that
And he's-
entire family.
and he's not a teammate. Like he showed it that he's not a teammate by walking off that field.
Sure.
And then after the looking at the press conference, I watched the press conference, and he threw his line under the bus, his offensive line. Like those guys are going to come in next week. They're going to have no ambition at all.
Now, let me tell you what. If I was that offensive line, I would be coming in the game and we'd march out on the field going, ole, 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 ole. I mean, like, I missed my assignment when he's getting his head taken clean off and I stand over to look at him.
At least the first couple plays, just to show his.
It's like, you're ready to play now?
Copy
I mean,
you know?
let's be honest. That offensive line's pretty much already doing that. They're not good anyway.
They're not good, but you don't throw your offensive line under the
No.
bus on national television. Or,
No,
I don't know, it's national television.
If I was Colorado State, who they're playing this weekend, if I was their band,
Play their fight song.
play their fight song. Just a freaking loot.
So I did.
When they score, play their fight
I
song.
did see Dion do a press conference. Now I know he could be reneging, but he did say that he did not say that. He did not request that. So we'll see. But
So he did not request.
he did not request this.
Okay, I mean,
That's
a lot.
fake news.
I've noticed a lot of fake news online. It drives me crazy. You see it in obviously in politics, but you also see it in sports. And it,
But it's something that we actually could believe would happen.
yeah, grab me a Miller Lite, man, please. Thank you. So, thank you, sir. I appreciate that, man. So, yeah, I mean, whatever, dude. That's. I was so pissed off after that, and I started getting pissed off at people that are on the Facebook group, and I try not to do that, but man, that just
It was spirited. That's all.
It was spirited. It was spirited, and I do not get spirited that much. I tell you what. But when somebody, anyway, we're not.
Insinuates this, that, and the other. You get a little hot.
Oh my god! Yeah, anyway.
We got your back. Don't worry about it. We got your back.
Thank you guys very much. But I was just worried if I was the problem with that. You know, if I was overreacting, but I guess I was not. And then I actually went on to I went into the news just to see if other people were saying that. And sure as hell, everyone was saying, why would he leave with 2.5 minutes left? Let's move on. Let's move on to Michigan. Did not impress me at all against Texas.
Told you that was going to be a rout.
Do they drop out of the top 25 this season pretty soon? And when will that be? All right, so they play Arkansas State next week. Then they got USC. Then they're at Minnesota. Or they play Minnesota. Then they're at Washington, at Illinois. Which one of those games gets them their second loss? Does that knock them out of the top
Third loss,
25? Michigan's first loss.
It all depends on what other teams are doing.
Arkansas, well, yeah, I guess it does depend upon, but I think that Michigan will not be in the top 25. I think they're going to have 4 or 5 losses.
You know?
I think loss number 2 is the Washington game.
Yeah.
So, okay.
You don't think USC?
It's it.
I think USC might have a hand
That
band.
game's in Ann Arbor. I mean,
True.
weather could be tricky. I mean, we still don't know what USC is yet. We don't know what LSU is yet. So, if I had to pick it right now, I'd say Washington's my best bet. But yeah, USC could easily be that second.
I think USC is better than Washington by far. Like that.
Well, again, we're going to. I mean, this weekend.
Even Washington's at Washington, right? With Michigan?
Yeah, it's at Washington, but I mean,
That's different.
Yeah, different. That's a tough barn. That's a tough barn to play in. I'm telling you.
I think that playing.
I think it happens at Illinois.
at Illinois. Okay, so
That's their spoiler.
So we're a little further up.
Illinois has played better than anticipated. Who they beat Kansas, who was a ranked team prior to. I think Illinois. It's at Illinois. I could see them losing there to the Illini.
Yeah, Brett Bielema. I mean, he's an old Big Ten guy. It's very possible.
Yeah, so I think that they're losing to USC. They're gonna probably have a fight in Washington. Oregon's gonna beat them, and they have to play Ohio State, and they're gonna lose that game.
So real quick, do they play Illinois before Washington or after?
After.
So you think the second loss comes not till then?
I'm not so sure what Washington has left over.
I don't think that they have the. I don't think they have the goods in Washington to win this.
I don't think
that
so.
many games.
But we don't. I mean, let's be fair. We really don't know yet. I mean, we'll know more this weekend when they play Washington State. That's a rivalry game.
Yep.
I mean, I think there's some teams we still have to learn a little bit about. I think they're one of them.
Washington State plays Washington this weekend.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Washington beat Weaver State and Eastern Michigan. I mean,
So we don't know. We don't know.
It's impossible to tell. Gamecocks laid it on Kentucky last week.
who picked that?
Did Shane Beamer just turn the team around, or does Kentucky just suck? And I think it's the latter. Does anyone else believe that Kentucky just sucks? Because I don't think that. I like the Gamecocks. I like what I saw of them. I especially liked what I saw on that defense with that true freshman Dillion Stuart just like taking it to the house, man. Like that dude was all over quarterbacks. I mean, it was insane. But
Could
other than-
Kentucky have been holding back because they're playing Georgia this week?
Oh,
No.
we're not using that cop out again. We used that once already.
No.
Hey, but that was that side.
Kentucky used that last week.
Kentucky had a bad game. South Carolina had a great game. Okay?
Well, I mean,
But South Carolina, their luck runs out this week.
No, I mean, the thing is,
know?
their defense played as well as any defense has played this year. Offense still made some mistakes, but their defense bailed them out. But what you do say is you look at Sellers from game 1 to game 2. You saw the progression.
He's
You saw
progressing.
him settling in. I'm not going to predict him to beat LSU this weekend, but LSU has demonstrated some holes. Like, they have shown they can be beat. They are not the LSU team we're used to seeing on the field. Do I think South Carolina wins this game? I don't think so, but I think it's going to be a competitive game, especially if they play the way they did last week.
LSU will be super disciplined this week in every single facet of the game. I guarantee that.
To Chief's point, I don't think Kentucky laid off. I think Kentucky might have already had this one chalked up looking at Georgia, and when they got punched in the mouth, when it started raining, it poured. Because South Carolina was very optimistic. They took advantage of every opportunity that was given to them.
I don't think that they were looking ahead to Georgia. I think that in Kentucky's world, they look ahead to every game that they're playing, or they look at every game they're playing because they have to win, and their coach is already on the hot seat. And I heard one of the talking heads say this this week is that he had gone for that Texas A&M role and did not get it. Right, and it was public. It was in public that he had. It was basically announced that he had that role, Kentucky's coach, and did not get it. And then that team just fell apart around him. I don't know if that's true, but I mean,
I'm not saying they're looking ahead. I'm saying I don't know that they thought that this game was going to be like that.
That's right.
South Carolina,
That's right.
we all sit here and
You
quote them
watch
last
game
week.
one in South Carolina, you are not expecting them to come out and play like they
We
did.
all sat here and laughed and
expecting-
hammed it up about how they played against Old Dominion.
Yeah.
And
shut the
who
hell up.
was that?
It doesn't matter who said it. It's just
No.
it's a matter.
Same guy who picked App State.
The game this week, there will be a lot of hype in Columbia, but LSU is going to come in on all cylinders. I guarantee.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And LSU
Yeah.
cannot afford to not be firing on all
Correct.
cylinders because 2 losses.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct. Correct. Every single facet of their game is going to be tight.
I just want to see Brian Kelly's head pop like a grape. That's what I want to
It's
see.
not going to happen this week. It might happen in a couple weeks, but not this
What
week.
happened to Mr. All SEC guy? Going for the underdogs.
No, I
I think Chopper is a little bit realistic most of the
I
time on
want-
things. Except
I want-
if it's SEC
now,
against SEC.
Now, I want the underdog to win. However, in this certain circumstance, with South Carolina coming in on a high and maybe not being that good, and LSU coming off a bad couple games, they're going to come in. They're going to come in on all cylinders. They have to. They're going to get if they get embarrassed this game. Brian Kelly's his head.
As I'm sitting here looking through this, and I said earlier, I didn't know. I'm looking through this. South Carolina beats them by a field goal.
By a field goal. Okay, hey.
South Carolina beats them by a
All
field
right, so we have not gotten into our picks for the week, so let's stop right there and let's talk about the Big 12 and the ACC. Both of those conferences are looking like there's
dog shit.
okay. You said it for me, so I didn't have to. You got Utah and Arizona, pretty much the teams to beat.
And Utah's quarterback
Big
already
12 right
gotten
now.
hurt again.
Yeah. Oh, he did. Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
Utah.
He went headfirst to a Gatorade table and had to come out of the game.
Oh,
Yeah,
geez.
Utah struggled with Baylor, and Baylor's not one of the top teams in the Big 12 this year.
Yeah, and then Arizona, you got to look at them. They didn't have a good week this week either.
I actually watched a lot of that game against Northern Arizona, and they looked sloppy.
Yeah, and then you have Miami and the ACC. I mean, Clemson kind of redeemed themselves a little bit, but these conferences, do they even deserve to be in the conversation for the playoffs?
Absolutely. You can't. I mean, again, we're 2 weeks into this thing. We're
Yeah.
already writing off the ACC and the Big 12. Give the Big 12 time. The ACC is going to have 2 or 3 really good teams, and we know Miami's already one of them. I think Miami could run
My
the table.
question-
Well, we know NC State is not one of them.
My thing is this: I don't remember in recent history this much mediocrity in the top 25. I mean, Georgia. It seems like Georgia is that much better than everybody else, and then everybody else is just slopping around in the mud. Now, they can afford to. They can afford to this year because you got 12 teams and you got 12 spots or 11 spots that you're trying to play for, so you can afford to slop around a little bit. I don't know if that's influencing anything or not, but I mean,
Maybe it is.
tell me another dominant team that you've watched. Georgia, when you watch them, you go, "Oh my goodness,
Well,
they look good." Tennessee,
Texas
will probably be in the running for that too.
And I don't say Ohio State. I mean, I said
Ole Miss.
at the beginning of the
Ole
year,
Miss, yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if they shut out most of the teams that they played at Oregon. They've only given up 6 points in the first 2 games, and Marshall probably won't score on. So Ohio State's got. I mean, really, you're right. There's 4 teams, and then there's everybody else right
Yeah,
now.
but maybe just maybe, if you're not playing in conference in some ways, unless you don't think you're going to win your conference, but if you think there's a chance to win your conference, maybe you're just not playing as hard as you should be because you're just trying to get to next week
No, I mean,
to play a conference game and win.
I don't know. The quality of the football you're watching thus far this year has just not been. It almost feel like, with the exception of about 6 to 8 teams, it's like the difference between watching the NFL and the XFL. It's just sloppy, not performing.
Well, transfer portal.
I mean,
That's what I was going to say.
I
Transfer
mean, maybe the
portal.
lack of continuity. The
You
lack
don't
of
know who's
continuity
on the
amongst
team.
teams.
And
How many near upsets did we see this past weekend?
A lot.
And I'm not going to go through them all, but there was a lot of games at
I
that
have them right
time.
here too. So we were actually going to talk about that.
There you go.
So thank you for moving us into the near upsets for the week. So we had number 7 Oregon almost lose to Boise State. Now I know for a fact that 2 weeks in a row you do not just hide your cards because you're waiting to get to conference play, especially when you almost lost them. I think it was like what with a few seconds left, they scored a field goal and won. So Oregon was not just dicking around, for lack of a better term.
No,
they
in
are
trouble.
not the team that you thought they were last week.
They have fraud alert written all over.
Boise State Super Bowl.
Don't answer that.
No, I mean, I'm gonna tell you what. The other day, watching that game, the guy was sitting. I don't know. The quarterback did something, and the light hit his helmet. And I swore it was a leprechaun on the side of his helmet for a second. I swore it looked just like a leprechaun, and it was gold and looked like a leprechaun on the side of his helmet. Oregon is the new Notre Dame this year. Is humming with all this hype, and now you're like, whoa, this is not good.
They got problems. Yes, I was bamboozled. I
we all were.
I like their coach. I'm still high on them. I still think they're going to be competitive, but they've got to fix some things if they're going to have a shot to win the Big Ten.
Yeah, because they have some tough games that they're going to be playing. They're going to be playing Michigan. They're going to be playing Ohio State.
I mean,
they're going to be playing USC.
Give them some time to transition. I mean, Bo Nix was there for 32 years. I mean,
They went and got the other guy that's been around for 31 years in Dylan Gabriel.
right.
So
Yep. All right, another one. Ready? We had Oklahoma number 15 at the time, almost lost to Houston. But I think a few people said that that's a possibility because Houston usually plays some pretty good ball.
They're a good group of fight school, but I would thought they were having a down year this year.
yeah, Houston. That's a shocker to me. Houston's not a good team this year. They lost a lot. They're trying to rebuild. Oklahoma looked really impressive in week 1, but they just did not do anything. I didn't watch. I saw some highlights and read a little bit, but that's a surprising one. I would have thought that had been a 20-point game.
And we had number 8 Penn State struggling against Bowling Green last week as well.
Bowling Green should have beaten it. I mean, legitimately, Bowling Green should have beaten
Legitimately,
it.
yeah.
I don't even want to talk about it.
Why are you so sad?
Bowling,
Because
Well,
Penn State came out and whipped them like a dog.
Bowling Green did. So the reason why I sat here and waxed poetic about West Virginia 2 weeks ago was because I thought we were going to do what Bowling Green did. We were going to punch them in the mouth, put them on their heels, and instead Bowling Green did it. And we got. I mean, I was so furious at watching. I couldn't watch anymore because I thought Bowling Green was going to win. It just.
Emotional, huh?
Yeah.
Did you have a few too many drinks that day or what?
No, just
Okay.
love for West Virginia, baby.
Hey, whatever. West Mountain Mama.
Live and die. Live and die.
Yeah, all right. So another one, number 17, Kansas State almost lost to Tulane. Now, I had all of these games on my potential upset list, and none of them actually were upsets because none of them freaking lost. But also, number 16, Oklahoma State almost lost to Arkansas. But I am pretty sure that all of us agreed that Arkansas was going to put a good game together, especially the SEC homer.
What it
over
should have
here.
covered, all
I
right?
picked Arkansas because Oklahoma State always loses this.
You
type
picked Oklahoma State?
I didn't.
No, heck no, he didn't pick Oklahoma State.
You were sweating it there early. You were sweating it there.
But
That was fun to watch.
I did think watching that game because I was watching Arkansas. I thought they were going to pull it off. Until they didn't.
Till they didn't. Now they were way up in the beginning, and I even posted it on the Facebook group. If you want to join it, please go ahead, guys. Spread Talking Sports. Like Arkansas is putting on a master class on how to lose a freaking game, lose a game that you're winning. You know, because they would just look like sloppy as hell at the end of that thing. But last week it was 9 of the top 25 teams almost lost or had an upset, which that's sloppy football going into the season. Number 21 Iowa lost to Iowa State.
But that is an in-state rivalry too.
Anything can happen.
2 words: Cade McNamara. End of story.
All right.
13 of 29, 99 yards, 2 interceptions. He's bad at football.
Yep. Syracuse beats number 23 Georgia Tech.
At Syracuse.
Everyone was
Go
so
Big
high.
Orange.
Everyone was so high on Big Orange or on Georgia Tech. I was
too.
You know, but maybe Florida State just sucks that back, or maybe Syracuse's new quarterback coming from Ohio State.
I think
Wasn't
Syracuse is
the
good.
game line like 2.5 Syracuse going?
3.5.
3.5 Syracuse.
Yep.
What was it? And it wasn't that final score spread was 3 or 4 points.
Yeah, it was a close game. That is it. Who's the quarterback over there at Syracuse? Cal McCord. That's it. Yeah,
Former Ohio State guy. They ran out of town.
they ran him out of town.
A guy who finished 11-1 last year, I believe, and they ran him out of town. So
That's ridiculous, ain't it?
Well, that's because Michigan just took him to the woodshed. That's why. Made him look stupid.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll see what Ohio State does without him, but Syracuse definitely has an asset there for sure. Kansas lost to Illinois, number 19 at the time. the Rebel said over there earlier, he's like, oh, Illinois is looking a little bit better than we expected them to be. Kansas, maybe not as good as we thought so, but I thought Kansas was good. They have, I think it was like 18 returning starters or something from last year.
Jaden Daniels didn't play. I may be saying it. Jalen or Jaden. We had two Jalen and Jaden Daniels last year. So the quarterback of Kansas didn't play well at all. So maybe that contributed to some of it. Maybe some of it Illinois is better than we thought.
Hey, whatever, yeah. Biggest one of the week, and everybody hates Notre Dame. Number 5, Notre Dame loses at home to Northern Illinois.
And that was their Super Bowl.
That was their Super Bowl.
My big question, Northern Illinois beats Notre Dame. They're now ranked 25th. Imagine that. If Bowling Green had also beaten Penn State, would both of those teams be ranked?
No.
Or would only Northern Illinois because they beat Notre Dame, and it looks better for the pollsters to say, hey, Notre Dame lost to a top 25 team.
No, they'll put Bowling Green right outside at like.
I think Northern Illinois is gifted this top 25 ranking.
Well, somebody was high on them, and that was voting.
Where was the Bowling Green game? Was at Happy Valley, right?
Yes.
So both games, the underdog was visitor.
Yes.
When you beat a team that's always gifted, as in Notre Dame, then you are gifted as well.
Yeah.
Right.
My point is that I think that was in favor of saying, hey, Notre Dame lost to a good team. Let's keep them in the playoff
Yes.
contention. Versus saying, you lost to a MAC school, maybe you should go get back in the
The
line.
interesting thing about it, though, this little 12-team playoff, if you look at their remaining schedule, they have a trip to Raleigh. After that, they could potentially win every game.
Do they have USC anymore? On the
Who's
schedule?
their trip to Raleigh? NC State?
Yes, they got to go to NC State, and then they got to go to Bowling Green, who showed out well. But outside of that,
You think NC State's any good after what we saw against Tennessee?
I'm just saying it's Northern Illinois. It's a group of 5 school. If they can go
Oh,
down,
this is Northern Illinois. I thought it was Notre Dame.
Northern Illinois goes down and beats NC State and Raleigh. They have a path to run the table and be undefeated. So there, we were talking about who's going to win the group of 5 spot. That win right there, if that don't put them as one of the front runners,
That coach will have every right to shed lots of tears.
Oh, absolutely. If he pulls
After
that off.
if he pulls that off.
And I bet he likes the school fight song played after every touchdown.
But the thing about a team like that is they might have a good run in the beginning of the season. Consistency is hard, especially with a bunch of kids that are not used to success.
That
all
all
those
look like it was coming. So the thing with them, what they've got, again, let's just say hypothetically, they go to Raleigh and beat NC State. I mean, they showed they got some talent on that team, and they've got some heart to win a game.
and they're partying in downtown Chicago for like the next 24 hours afterwards, and then they all freaking get arrested.
If they get past NC State, they will have to fight themselves more than anything, because every game they win, the pressure builds, the pressure builds, the pressure builds. Can you finish the job? Once I think they go to Central Michigan as their last game.
And we know the MAC. MAC plays games on Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights. And sometimes those games are hard to get up for. It's just a little different atmosphere versus a Saturday, rah college football. So there's a lot. By the way, Northern Illinois is not a Johnny come lately. They were in the Orange Bowl against Florida State, 10 years ago? I mean, it wasn't that long ago.
Northern Illinois?
Yes, absolutely. They before the playoff, when it was still the BCS, they took a BCS spot and went to the Orange Bowl. I believe they played Florida State. Not blown out, but they did make.
You're right.
Yeah, they did. So they're not like a Johnny come lately. They've got a school with some tradition. They've been around.
Who's quarterback at NIU?
Tony Romo, wasn't he?
Tony Romo,
No, he was
that's right.
Southern Illinois. He was
Oh, was
Southern
that?
He was Southern
Okay.
Illinois.
Okay.
That's all.
Southern Illinois.
Yeah.
We got the games of the week.
Let's do it. Write them down.
All right, so Alabama, they were looking a little bit rough last week when they were playing for like the first half, maybe the first 3 quarters, and then sort of started getting things together. And I just don't know if they are the team that they were in the past under Nick Saban. Now, that being said, they are the number 4 team in the nation under the new polls. So they're going to be going up to Wisconsin to play. And in my opinion,
That's a tough place.
this might be one of the upsets of the week. You're not sure, though. So what do you say about that, Rebel?
I think Alabama gets it done. They're a better team. Wisconsin has just not fielded the same level of quality of football they say they were 10, 15 years ago. If this game was in November, I would think differently.
Yeah.
But it's a September game. The weather won't play into this. The cold won't come into this.
Noon start.
Noon start. I mean, anything. Weather would be perfect. It'd be in the 70s. I think Alabama goes up there and handles it. Alabama this year,
Who wants to win that game more?
I think Alabama does. I mean, Coach got to prove something.
Yeah.
He's got to prove he can win with guys that aren't his guys. And the thing that's very different about Alabama this year is all the hype has always been around Alabama, Georgia. Really, nobody's talking about them this year. They're just very quietly going about their business, kind of keeping it to themselves. That's one of those, when you say you get in a bar fight, the guy who's not saying anything is the one you worry about the most. I ain't so sure that's not Alabama this year. I mean, I told you I had them losing 4 or 5 games after what I've seen the first 2. I'm not so
Alabama will
sure.
be fine.
Alabama's going to be just fine, I think.
Yeah.
The,
All right.
Yeah, no, I think this game will be a slugfest up there. But Alabama, to say it's way too early to say that they're not the same team as when Saban had them. This coach is going to do a good job with them. They're always going to be a strong team. They're going to put up a lot of points this week and beat Wisconsin.
So they win. Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Chief?
I disagree with one thing you said. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. The line is 51.5. I actually think it's going to be more like a 21-10 game. Wisconsin's defense is going to be the star of Wisconsin, not the star of the game, but the star of
I
Wisconsin.
think you're going to see some speed kills this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Alabama has the speed, but it really comes down to Wisconsin's at home. That's going to be, for the fan base, they're like, this is a humongous game for
could be
us to
their
play
Super
Alabama.
Bowl.
Not their Super Bowl. Their Super Bowl would be if they were in the Big Ten Championship. But the thing that you're looking at is, I mean, if Alabama comes to South Carolina, it's a huge game. If Alabama goes anywhere, it's a huge game. It's going to be hard to play in that stadium.
If Alabama rolls Wisconsin, like just rolls them, Wisconsin's not. They don't even have a hope of going to the Big Ten Championship.
No.
If it's a close game, they're gonna be in a position mentally to go continue to play. And
Put me down for Wisconsin, baby.
Yeah.
I am saying Wisconsin's going to win this game, okay?
House of Pain.
House of Pain.
The one thing about
Exactly.
Wisconsin is they,
I
regardless.
might put House of Pain in the background music of this show right here. All right, there you go.
So the thing with Wisconsin traditionally, they don't make
Jump around.
they don't make
Trip
many.
up, trip up.
They play good fundamental football. They don't make a lot of mistakes. Even games they lose, they don't. It's not because they turn the ball over, stuff like that. So to me, if Alabama loses this game, it's going to be because Alabama beat Alabama by putting the ball on the ground, throwing picks, different things like that. Because again, Wisconsin just doesn't make a lot of mistakes, even in the games they lose. It wasn't because they screwed up.
Who do you got?
Oh, give me Bama in a cover 16. This game's not going to be close.
This game
You
could be
guys
ugly.
kidding me?
This game could be
Kellen
ugly.
DeBar knows how to coach. The man won out in Washington. He had like a 34-2 record or something crazy out there.
So
you
you
got it
think-
all over Luke Fickle.
It-
He ain't had a chance to build a team yet. Alabama's kicking their ass.
Hey, this is
Are you kidding me, guys? Alabama by
100%
30.
agree with you.
Bama by 30. Jalen Milroe, boys.
Give me.
Big noon. Once again, big noon on Fox will be like, shit, we had a shitty game at noon for 3 straight weeks.
This thing's gonna be
No
ugly.
respect.
The best part of this game for Wisconsin is gonna be the House of Pain song, and then it's gonna get
Which no one will be there to jump around. The students going to high color it. This game is over.
Ugly.
Mama's got the show fired up, man.
This Wisconsin love is gross.
Melly Mama! Melly Mama!
No way.
Calm down. Hey, do I need to
what
get
you really
you? Do I need to get you some ice to put on that forehead, man? You are sweating, bro.
Bama by 100.
Give me.
All right, so, wow, that was good. All right, South Carolina versus number 16 LSU. Which Gamecocks team do we get? That's the big question. Which one? Do we get the team that played in week 1, or do we get the team that played in week 2?
Neither.
You
LSU,
get neither.
You get neither.
neither.
You get a team that's improved and get week 3 South Carolina.
and is confident.
First home game of the year. The student section is going to be rowdy.
It's not the first. I went to the opening game.
the first conference game of the year.
Okay.
Game day is going to be here. Those kids are going to be up drinking at 4 o'clock in the morning. This town is going to be rowdy.
And South Carolina is leading the SEC, or they're the number 1 team in the SEC right now. Do they keep it at the end of the weekend?
Yes.
Yes. They have 2 wins in the SEC
Not
by the end of the
so
weekend.
fast, my friends.
I think we heard your opinion, so tell me more.
You have. So you're not gonna get the South Carolina week 1 or week 2 team, right? You're gonna get something in the middle. That team is not gonna be anything near as disciplined or as ready to win as LSU. LSU has got their back against the wall right now. They have to win this game.
But
South Carolina does not have to win this game. LSU has to win this game, and they have to win this big. It is like
ain't gonna
trust me, it has to happen.
So you got LSU down to the
I
win.
guarantee you, they have to win
All right.
this game.
Why do you feel
Mark-
like there's such a hole? I mean,
They
why?
have to.
Why?
Trust me. If Brian Kelly goes back to Baton Rouge after losing to South Carolina, it's going to be
He's
ugly.
fired, but
Ugly.
yeah, pretty much.
Ugly.
It's by
but
way too
it's going to be ugly.
Well,
Trust me, he will have everybody on every.
the one X factor in this game,
Yeah.
65% chance of rain Saturday. So
Chief. That's true. Oh, that's going to be terrible for my flag. That's going to be terrible for my guys about our sports flag, man, if it's raining.
All right.
Chief, who you got?
I do think
Carolina or LSU?
I got LSU, but it's going to be really close, somewhere between 3 and 7.
All right. Luckily, we're not actually going by numbers because All of us would probably be terrible at that.
Are you?
But close game.
I'm sorry,
Real close
handicap these
game.
games if you want.
LSU. I'm with Chopper. LSU. It's a must-win game.
If I had a Gamecock hat to wear, I would throw that thing on right now because I'm going for the Gamecocks, baby. It's a home game. How do you get out of there when they got the sandstorm going? Every time they score,
Gamecocks
it's
are
going to
gonna
be insane.
fine. After last week's win and have a game day here, even if they lose, it's still going to be okay next week. For LSU, that's not the case.
All right, I got the Gamecocks. I am on board
Is
with.
the hat a chicken or an egg?
It's a chicken.
Okay, just checking.
Of course,
What?
it's a chicken.
Yes. If his Gamecock hat was a chicken or an egg.
Who do you got there, Mountain Mama?
2 weeks ago,
Tell me more.
I sat here and told you all everything Rebel just said about Morgantown, West Virginia. We all remember what happened? Oof. I really, really, really want South Carolina to win this game. I am rooting hard for South Carolina because I hate Brian Kelly. I can't stand Brian Kelly. But I think LSU is going to win. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be, I hate to say it, I have a bad feeling it might be a heartbreaker for South Carolina late. But if I'm just putting my pick reputation on the line, I got to go with LSU to win.
Reputation. Ooh.
Which isn't very good, by the way, if you look at the numbers. But still.
Right, Sonny?
But I mean, I just honestly, I mean, I just, and I hope I want this pick to be wrong so bad.
I do too. I trust me. I want it to be wrong. I want the Gamecocks to win this.
So everybody at this table will at least be rooting for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, rooting for him, yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Number 20, Arizona. At number 14, Kansas State. Both teams almost lost last week.
Is that a
Kansas State barely hung in there against
Right.
Tulane. And I'm not
that's a
sure.
Friday night game?
Yeah, I'm not sure if a 2-0 Arizona is better than Tulane. I really don't. But let's just say Arizona and Kansas State, that's make good matchups. It might be one of the best games of the week to actually watch, just because I think that they're evenly matched. It's a hard one to call. But who do you? I see you're nodding. This is a Big 12 game.
Yeah, this is a
and
Big-
you're a Big 12 homer, aren't you?
I'm a Big 12 guy. I have to be.
All
I have
right.
to be.
So I'm going to trust your opinion more than any of these guys' opinions.
So
I can tell you that.
Here's the difference in the game. Here's what I think. One, it's at Kansas State. It's a Friday night. It'll be hopping there. Like, it's a tough place to play. Two, Arizona has the new staff.
They got about 45,000 people that fit in that stadium.
It gets loud, brother.
Oh,
It gets loud.
All right.
Not quite as loud as the 45,000 boos that were mixed in with the Miami loss that you guys have. We won't talk about that right now. But anyway, but it gets loud there. So anyway, I guess what I want to say real quick is Arizona. They have a new staff. They're still probably trying to jail. I think I saw a little bit of that watching them play Northern Arizona. Kansas State still has their coaching core together. Avery Johnson's a pretty good quarterback, good enough to run Will Howard out of town, I guess. I'm going to pick Kansas State.
Kansas State.
Only because of the coaching staff and because it's a home game. It's a Friday.
All right. Rebel.
Manhattan, Kansas is a graveyard. That's where many great seasons have come to die. I've seen Texas A&M be undefeated, come in there and just get walloped. I've seen Oklahoma, Texas go in there with very subpar Kansas State team, beat them late, and ruin really good seasons. Manhattan is a graveyard. Kansas State wins the game.
Kansas State wins the game. All right. Chief.
K-State.
K-State. I think we've gone around the table with everyone with K-State. Are you changing up on us?
You know I
Chopper,
can't
what the hell
pick
your name
K-State.
is? Huh?
I got to go with K-State.
Yeah, you are a little bit of a homer for K-State. I forget
yeah.
about this.
Yeah.
His wife
was born in Manhattan.
was born in Manhattan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The big city of Manhattan. Kansas.
A little apple.
Yep. All right, so you got K-State, huh? I think I'm just going to trust all of you, and I'm going to go K-State also. I do think that they have a pretty good team this year. I think I called them as a potential to win the Big 12 earlier this season as well. It was either them or Kansas, but I'm not very high on Kansas right now at all. So Kansas State, we'll go with that. And I don't know if you remember this guy that quit the show. His name is Kip or Ripper the Predictor. You guys know him.
He would have gone for K-State.
He would go for K-State, but he quit the show, so he doesn't even have a say in this, but he would have been excited that all y'all went for K-State, all right? Number 24, Boston College. At number 6, Mizzou. A little early in the season to call BC a good team yet, in my opinion, but they're 2-0. Mizzou is a legit team. I've said it from the beginning. They're potentially going to be in the SEC championship, especially with their easy-ass schedule. We'll call it that. Right? We'll call it what it is. And probably they are the number 6 team in the country, and they're going to stay there only because of their easy schedule. But what do y'all think, man? Does BC stand a chance against Mizzou? What do you think about that?
Where is the game?
It is at Mizzou. Yeah, it's in Missouri.
No, Missouri all the way.
Missouri all the way. Okay, what do you got, Chief?
Missouri, and it might be a slaughter.
A slaughterhouse against Boston College, huh?
Yeah, I'm thinking 24.
I mean, when Boston College is they're getting love because they beat Florida State. I mean, when that happened, you're like, oh, maybe this is something big. I mean, Missouri, Captain Dinkin Dunk has a lot of talent on that offense, and I think they beat them by more than 2 touchdowns. I think the spread's 17, 19, something like that.
No one has
17.
scored on Missouri this season. Nobody's scored. The two games they played have been zeros. So this is a
That's
team.
impressive.
This is a team that not only has a very impressive offense, but I think their defense is better than we gave them
They
credit
played
for.
Buffalo and Murray State.
But hold on. But still, nobody's scored even 3 points on them. That means they haven't gotten within
Like
30,
good high
they haven't gotten
school.
within 40 yards of a field goal.
That's still good.
So that's good.
You know,
Any team that can put up 2 goose eggs in a row is pretty solid. I mean, the mountain mama here talks very highly about Ohio State because no one scored but 6 points on them, and who the hell have they played?
You just compared Ohio State to Missouri. You know that, right?
I think Missouri might be.
Oh, Lord.
I think Missouri might have a pretty solid defense, man.
Shit.
That's the only thing I'm trying to make a point on is that Missouri has a pretty good defense, and I always thought it was going to be all offense for them this season. I thought they'd be having games that were like 56-40, where their defense can't stop anything. But I guess I'm wrong. But I
We'll
guess
start
we'll
calling
see.
you, your name's about to be changed to Gumby with all the stretch you're trying to put into this shit.
Luckily, Florida's not playing.
I mean, Missouri, some people are saying
I think BC could beat Florida.
some people are saying the game day is in the wrong Columbia. They're still saying that.
Ooh, that's possibly
They're saying
true.
that. But yeah, Missouri wins this game and they cover by far.
Do you think game day said Columbia, and then they looked at the map and they just went to the wrong
Yeah,
place?
This is the more fun place to fire.
Let's just look at this.
This is the more fun about
You got an SEC versus SEC game. You got an ACC versus SEC game. Who do you think is going to watch more game day? LSU and South Carolina fans, or Boston College and Missouri?
100% more.
Now, if both those guys are playing the end of the year and they're undefeated, well, then fine. That changes things because you'll get the passing fan that's just intrigued by these two schools that normally aren't very good. So, yeah, no, they're where they need to be.
Missouri, yeah.
Mountain Mama, you had Missouri, or you had Boston College?
No, I have Missouri in the cover.
By 50?
No, well, at least by
Gimme.
at least by 17.
Okay, wow, by 17. All right. I'm not going to go with Boston College, as you guys could see.
And I know we've harped on it a lot. Columbia, Missouri is a tough place to play. I mean, there's a lot
It
of teams
completely
out there.
disagree with that.
There are. I mean,
I disagree with that. It's not a tough place to play.
you got to look at how many teams have gone there and lose.
Why is it not a tough place to play? I got to hear this.
It's just not a tough place.
Do they not have enough stands like the one down in Gainesville? Is that the problem?
No,
Is that what we're judging on tough
No,
boards?
Gainesville has the stands. They just can't fill them these days.
Oh, they fill them with tears.
Hey, Florida's about to see that Mississippi State's a hard place to play.
Mississippi State is a hard place to play. Everyone knows Mississippi State.
It
If you
is,
go in there,
yeah.
you hear 60,000 cowbells.
That's right.
I mean, it would be. God, that's like the worst place to play.
Just
man.
wait. Just
Like,
wait.
who wants to listen to a cowbell, first of all? And then you got 60,000. Blah, 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 blah. God.
Have to go
dang,
again?
dude, that would be,
Just wait.
Is that a
Yeah.
cowbell or rubber duck? Which is it?
It sounds like a machine.
It sounded like a motorboat.
whatever. So, anyway, did I get everybody on that? Is everybody. So, everyone went with Mizzou, even though I did boost up Boston College a little bit in the beginning. All right, that's fine. I mean, I don't think it's 17. I think it's more like 10. They win by 10.
I mean, look, Boston College is a better team than they were last year. We can give them that kind of credit. But Missouri's for real.
Yep. When are we going to do Land in the Legend picks?
Dude, we forgot to do Atlanta Legends picks, man. So let's go ahead and drop those in right here.
Wisconsin, LSU, Kansas State, Mizzou, Tulane, Texas A&M.
Tulane at number 15, Oklahoma, who proved that they can't score for crap last week, by the way. After nearly beating Kansas State last week, Tulane may be hungry for a win this week. What do you think about that, Chief?
No.
Tulane or number 15, Oklahoma?
2-0 Oklahoma. Spreads 13.5. Oklahoma covers.
Oklahoma covers, okay. Rebel,
I
what do you
told-
think, man?
I told-
Tulane is going to Oklahoma.
I told you.
They're hungry.
I told you to start the season. Oklahoma's defense is better than they were anticipating to be, which they've shown that, even though they've not played anybody that's real stellar yet. Tulane emotionally shot their wad last week trying to beat K-State. They're emotionally drained from a big game like that to come so close. Oklahoma. I don't think Oklahoma beats them by 50, but they beat them pretty handily.
Oklahoma can't score. They scored 16 points last week. Now, mind you, their defense is good. But I think Tulane has the offense to score some points. I'm thinking that this is our upset of the week. Tulane by 3.
You're taking Tulane.
I'm taking Tulane.
Anger loves to give away free beer at the end of years.
I love to buy people beer. If you want to, you can get on our Facebook group, and I will buy you a beer if you're the closest score. Once a week, I do that. Okay. So if you're the closest score, I probably owe 150 beers right now.
I've paid some of your debt to few people. that
Thank
I
you
know.
very much. I appreciate that. Because and I actually have somebody, Brookie DC up in Ohio, is going to pay the debt for somebody as well. There's a guy that used to be on the show, Brookie DC, and he moved to
Brookie
Ohio.
Dick Cookie.
Brookie the Cookie, yeah. So he was a founder of the show practically, man. So shout out to that man right there.
Been moved away.
All right, who do you got on this game? Tulane or number 15 Oklahoma?
I'm with Rebel. If Tulane had beaten Kansas State, I would think Oklahoma's in trouble. But I think they're deflated. I think, and it's in Oklahoma.
I think they're deflated.
I do. I think
Get that close. I think it should be better. They got blown out last week because they were like, "Oh, well, move on."
Yeah.
They have all those boys are going back to the locker room with all the hope in the world. Like we almost beat K-State. Man, we're gonna go in there. We're gonna crush the Oklahoma State.
But there's also
Sooners.
There's also the pressure though.
Boomer Sooner.
They were a darling favorite to be that 12th team, and they could wind up losing back-to-back games to Big 12 schools, which it eliminates them completely because that shows they're not competitive with playoff caliber teams. They're Oklahoma, and they cover.
Yeah.
All right.
Oklahoma all the way.
All right. I'll let you guys have it. And we got everyone. Did you say Oklahoma also?
Yeah.
So all y'all
and they
against me,
covered.
huh?
That's right.
Yep.
That's fine. I will stand alone and stick with Tulane. That green wave. Is that what they are? The green wave? Yeah.
Straight out of Nolans.
Yeah. That green wave, man, is not messing around this week. All right. The backyard brawl. How does it get that name, by the way? Do you have the history of this?
They are within.
Tell me more.
They are 90 miles with each other,
Okay.
and between the two schools, they play each other the most of all their other rivals. So Morgantown to Pittsburgh is really quick. It's really weird in our state because a lot of people that live in West Virginia are huge Pittsburgh Steelers fans, but they hate we hate the Pitt Panthers and they hate us. It is just it's been a big rival, and I'm glad it's back on the schedule. It took a little bit of a hiatus because of this bullshit conference crap, but it's back on the schedule. The last 2 years have been phenomenal games. We took the one last year. They took the one.
If I'm not mistaken, because I had to feel a little bit of that pain too, was if I were not mistaken that when they did all the conference realignment, the longest running rivalry non-stop was Pitt, West Virginia until they stopped playing. Appalachian State and Western Carolina was the second longest, and because of the realignment, they haven't played since App moved up. Even though we'll play East Tennessee State and crap like that, I hope we do what West Virginia did and see the value in renewing that rivalry.
Absolutely. Another big rivalry that's going to happen this year is Texas A&M.
That's back on. It's good to see these rivalries.
It's good to see them coming back.
And this weekend is like a mini rivalry weekend. We got the Apple Cup, we got the Civil War, we got the backyard brawl.
Which I will say though, I digress a little bit on that. Like, I really hate they've gone to that because I'm going to tell you what, and you guys can disagree with this. The last weekend of college football used to be the most exciting weekend of the year because all the rivalry games.
I like rivalry
teams I would not give two rips about watching. Oregon State. Sure. I would watch those games because those were rivalry games. They were always really good games, and you learn about rivalries you wouldn't otherwise know about.
I agree, but but we're not going to get that anymore because
you can't go to conference championship.
I will still take those rivalries like that. I don't care when they play.
I'd rather see them earlier in the year than not at all.
Yeah.
But that was the greatest weekend. Like I used to tell my beloved wife, "Don't bother me this day because I'm not getting out from
back to back.
television."
Now they did still, you're still going to have, Ohio State, Michigan,
They'll always be the end, but I mean,
Florida State,
one
Carolina,
right after
they're
the
always
other.
gonna.
They called it rivalry weekend for a reason.
But I like rivalry weekend. I mean, I would like it if we could get all the rivalries pushed to rivalry.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, back to my pick. I'm a homer, boys. WVU, and we cover. The spread's only 2.5. But yes, we're going to go up to Pittsburgh, and we're going to win. And we're going to be 2-1, heading to Big 12
Is
play.
that the picks on the sheet?
It is
It
not.
is now
It is
because
now.
he called me out on it.
It is now.
He called me out on it. And, I mean, when the Mountaineer speaks, I listen, okay? So I was like, you know what?
You don't listen to that from here.
If we're going to talk Appalachian State Mountaineers, which I'm all about, my brother from the
I don't mind West Virginia. I don't mind at all.
I got West Virginia winning. We cover.
No, that's a big rivalry. It's true. And it has a cool name, the Backyard Brawl. I want to learn more about it.
Yeah.
You're 90 miles apart. And I figured that the Backyard Brawl got the name because my stepmother is from Pennsylvania, right? And whenever they would have parties, it was always in their backyard. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe like family fights. And sitting there, like, and you would see it because like they were poor people from a coal town in Western PA. And yeah, they would sit there and have these parties outside. So I'm thinking to myself, that's why they got the name.
To be fair, the backyard brawl should have been the number 6 game we picked versus this Florida A&M crap. But I get who runs the show. You understand?
So who are we picking? Everybody going for WVU? Can we just have to clean sweep?
Oh, come on, man. It's not going to be that easy. All right, who do you got there, Chopper?
I'm going WVU.
Attaboy.
WV.
Attaboy.
Okay. And Chief, the man
WVU.
himself.
Ah.
Ooh, you guys are just being nice
Hey, well,
to our new friend.
here's what I'm thinking. West Virginia played Penn State, and Pitt is an ACC school. Yeah, Pitt's 2-0, but Pitt ain't played anybody. West Virginia has played somebody. They've had their ass kicked.
Yes.
I think they're going to go into this game and go, this is my freaking neighborhood, my backyard.
It's not their backyard. It's Pitt's backyard, though.
Yeah, and they're going to go, it's mine
They
now.
played last year.
They are going to do exactly what West Virginia is going to do exactly what LSU is going to do.
Okay. Hey, who do you have, Rebel? Come on, you got to go against
I'm
those
just asked.
West Virginia Mountaineers.
I got to take Pitt just because they've got some redemption to do from last year. That's why I actually won it because they're two very evenly matched teams. This game will be really entertaining. You got the rivalry aspect to it. I mean, they sing at one another, and it's beautiful. And I love watching it, even though I don't have a dog in the fight.
It's a toss-up.
But I think Pitt by a field goal.
Pitt by a field goal.
It's a 3:30 Saturday game, so if it's pouring rain in Columbia, South Carolina, we could be watching West Virginia.
Well, by 3:30, our game will be over. What are you talking about?
I'm saying if it's pouring rain, there might not be a game.
I'm going for West Virginia as well because they have played somebody already. They did lose, but it was competitive, right? If I remember correctly.
No.
Penn
No,
State,
it was not.
it was competitive until about 1 minute to go in the first half, and then it was blowout city.
Okay, so it was not competitive. I didn't watch the game. I don't remember. My memory literally goes back about 15 minutes.
You're a
typically.
goldfish.
I mean, honestly, for a quarter and a half, it was both teams were sloppy, they're making mistakes, but both teams were punching each other. But then, Penn State hit a big play at the end of the half, and then that was it after that. It was over after that.
Put me down for West Virginia anyway.
Gotcha.
Even though were not competitive against Penn State, who almost lost last week, by the way. As you remember, right?
Yes, I remember.
Yes. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. All right. So the biggest game of the week. We got to talk about it.
No, we really don't.
Florida versus Texas A&M. Two teams that need a win to start the
Game of the
SEC
week,
conference play.
WEAK, right?
Am I a bit biased by bringing this game up? I don't think so because our boy Napier needs a win. But you know
And he
what?
ain't going to get it this week.
Does anybody
No,
have a
man.
quarter to
They
call
got-
someone who cares?
Wow. He went Travis Tritt on you right there.
There's been a lot of talking smack against the Florida Gators, but I'll tell you what, there's still hope for the playoffs because they haven't lost. They have not lost a conference game yet. Okay,
You make me sound normal talking about West Virginia. You know
Florida has not lost a conference game yet. They can turn it all around.
how many have they won?
No.
They've won one game.
No,
They've
how many,
lost one.
how many
game.
conference games have they won?
They've lost zero. They've lost zero, and they've won zero. But they're still in the conversation. I'm telling you. So let's go ahead and go around the table since no one cares. Who do you got? Florida or Texas A&M?
So,
I'm getting all y'all on the record because I want to see how. I want to see if all y'all go with West Virginia like I went with yours. You need to go with my team.
West Virginia. We're not looking at West Virginia anymore.
I know. All right. God.
They got him up a
If people
bit.
are listening or looking at this right now on video, they'd be like, everyone, Rebel has his head on the table. I'm freaking sick of being here at this point because this guy wants to talk about
So this
Florida.
isn't a huge game, but it's huge for both of these teams.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
So from the outside looking in, both of these teams have to win this game going forward. Right?
So, using the LSU statement, both of them have to win, so it's going to be a tie?
yes.
They both have
Back in the
to
day,
win.
we're going back in the day
That's
football.
what's going to happen.
They're going to go in like 15 overtimes.
My mom told me for dinner.
It's a
The
tie.
game's
The
over.
little kissing
Yeah.
your sister thing.
Yeah.
Ty's like kissing your sister.
I think this game's a toss-up. I'm going to go with Florida because it's a home
Thank
game.
you very much. It's hard
It's
to
a
play
home
in the
game.
swamp.
It's a home
With
game.
all those tears, man, Texas A&M is going to get flooded out
Yeah.
because they're not used to a lot of rain in Texas unless
But
there's a
it's
hurricane.
going to be an ugly game.
All right, all those Florida tears that were left from 2 weeks ago, what do you got, man?
I got Florida. It's going to be so close. It's going to be less than a field goal.
Less than a field goal. All right. Oh, man, you're going to have me stressing by 6 o'clock.
You
tonight.
are going to be stressing because Florida's going to win in the last 60 seconds.
Oh, man, I hate when that happens. But I'm fine. As long as they win. Or good. All right. Who do you got, Rebel? Texas A&M?
Well, I
or
told
Florida?
you all along that I'm a big Billy Napier fan. He is a good coach. I think he was put in a bad situation to start with. That it's going to take something special to change the culture there, just because I don't think they know how to win anymore. They don't have the drive to win like they used to. He's going to end up a coordinator somewhere else to try to rebuild his reputation. But again, I worry now at this point, based off of last year, transition into this year, as he lost that team, A&M wins the game.
A&M wins the game.
A&M wins
Oh,
the
you
game.
bastard. But that's fine. We want honesty around this table.
I'll be honest with you. If I'm wrong on that one, I like Billy Napier. He's a good guy, good coach. I just think the hole was too deep that he was dropped into for him to be able to turn this thing around in 3 years, 4 years, something like that. So I hope I'm wrong on that. But if you make me bet, I'm taking A&M.
Country Roads, who you got?
I think Florida has their South Carolina moment. I think a lot of South Carolina fans were happy, shocked. I think we saw a bunch of them,
Yep.
Chief, when they downed Kentucky. And I have a feeling Florida's going to do the exact same thing at Texas A&M. I have a feeling it won't be close. I think Florida somehow blows them out, like 24-6 or something like that. And people get excited again about the way they're excited here in Columbia again after the Old Dominion debacle.
Game
I
day
think-
next week, but
I think I really do, and I say that because what Rebel said, Billy Napier's a good coach, and there's no reason to think he cannot get them through this game. And Texas A&M didn't show us a whole lot against Notre Dame.
No.
I mean, so there's some questions there.
The difference with the two situations, I agree, they're similar. The two differences: South Carolina wins 6 games, makes a bowl game. Everybody around here is happy. They're content with 6-6. Florida's not. I mean, Florida's not. You can get to 6-6 this year, and they'll be like, "Yay, we made a bowl game."
I just told y'all I'm happy with 2-10 this year.
You are, but that general fan base is not.
No,
That's the problem.
I think after the Old Dominion game, most people in Columbia were thinking 2-10. I think that they were.
No, I agree. No, I agree. But now they're kind of. But I'm saying generally speaking. I'm not talking about this year, last year. I'm saying generally speaking. If South Carolina wins 6 games, makes a bowl game.
Yeah.
They're content with that. They'll talk about how we're going to get better next year. But hey, go play in the Who Gives a Damn Bowl.
I mean, yeah, I've been in South Carolina for 13 years now, and every year I hear a couple of my friends, Mitch and Glenn, and they're like 6-6. At least we made a bowl game. We suck again, but whatever.
Liz.
But next year we're gonna be good, right? Yeah, next year. That's kind of the going thing, which is fine, you know. Yeah, Gator fans, we've had 3 national championships. Why wouldn't we expect more, right?
When was the last meaning that for real?
2008. So we had 1996, 2006, 2008.
You guys had 4, right?
No, we have 3.
I thought they won one in the 60s. They
Nope.
didn't win one?
Nope.
Okay, my bad.
Nope.
2008, that's a crazy thing in like 3 years, 4 years. That's 20 years ago, man.
Yeah, that's terrible, right? Yeah.
Long in 2 years.
I know, but I remember it. But I've set my expectations low. The thing being is this. DJ Lagway last week, the quarterback freshman, first start, had the most yards thrown of any quarterback that's ever started a game for their first time as a freshman.
Take wins where you get them, bro.
475 yards.
Take wins where you can get them.
Ridiculous numbers, right? This guy can throw the ball 70 yards accurately, no problem. And if Billy Napier uses him strategically, along with Graham Mertz, who's deadly accurate as well, I think that we have a 1-2 punch. Not at the level of Chris Leak and Tim Tebow in 2006, because we don't have the team we don't have that same team.
You
But
don't
I
have
think that
40 convicts on the team, is what you're saying.
I think the Graham Mertz experiment needs to be over. He has not been good. I know he's again. I go back. Stats,
he hasn't won games.
Stats and eye test are 2 different things. And I think this Lagway kid, is he a runner? Is he a
He can run the ball as well.
So
yeah.
they have that's a triple threat kind of guy. I mean, there's no reason to think they can't pull one past Texas. I'm going Florida, as I said earlier.
So everyone went with Florida except for you. You're not welcome back in my house ever again.
That's why he's the rebel.
The rebel.
Until next week.
Until next week, yeah. All right, so I got Florida as well, by the way.
Imagine
I don't know if you knew it, but I do have Florida listed as my win for the week as well. Major upset that week.
I got another one.
Oh, you said it. I'm going to let you say it now. Who's the major upset for you?
Well, this has been in the making. Virginia Tech's favored by 14 against Old Dominion. It's at Old Dominion, and it's a night game on Saturday.
I'm going to try and see it. Old Dominion is terrible. They're terrible.
Really?
They're terrible.
They had East Carolina.
They have a quarterback. Outside of that, they are terrible.
They're feisty.
They're feisty.
So they beat Virginia.
I think Virginia Tech has not looked that good
Yeah,
this year.
South Carolina is better than Virginia Tech. So I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
that.
and
it's at home.
And Virginia Tech struggled with Marshall for
Yes.
3 quarters. Yeah.
That's my point. I think Virginia Tech's way overrated in this game. It's at Old Dominion.
Let me tell you what this means. If Old Dominion wins, it just means Virginia Tech's terrible too. That's true.
True.
By the way, I know we're trying to get this thing done. There is one sneaky one on Thursday night. There are some folks on ESPN that has Texas State as that kind of darling team that can sneak in. They play Arizona State on Thursday night at home.
They're all about Texas.
But here, listen, lock of the week. Arizona State is only favored by 1.5. Give me Arizona State. Are you kidding?
Texas State, everybody's big on them because they had receivers last year. It's a Sun Belt team. Yeah. They've got a lot of speed. They got a lot of skill position, but had nobody to throw the ball. The quarterback from James Madison last year has transferred. He left JMU. Transferred into Texas State, and everybody about Texas State right now.
I will not describe what you just said.
But no, Texas State, I think it's a lot of hype right now. I mean, a lot of them had them winning the West because Troy's in a down year in Sun Belt, so they've got them winning the West. There's a lot to be seen. Again, having a bunch of talent and throwing it in the room don't mean they played well together yet. And I forget who they played 2 weeks ago, gave them all they wanted.
I just think that line is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm going to give that, what you just did, my what the fuck moment. Okay? Because if we were on video, we might have to do a bleep on that. But that's fine. I love it. That made me laugh. What's your what the fuck moment, Rebel?
Does anybody at this table know the name Alvin Henderson?
No idea.
Alvin Henderson's a 4-star Auburn running back commit. He's from Alabama. This past Friday night, he had 40 carries, 435 yards, set an Alabama state record with 10 touchdowns in the game.
Oh, my God.
And they lost 80-78.
God.
What the fuck? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They lost.
I would love to see the stats of the kid that was on the other side then too.
I mean, there was no defense
Yeah.
in this game. 80-78. He had 10 touchdowns, 435 yards in a losing effort.
So whoever the person is on the other side is probably an Alabama commit. Not.
I don't know. Hey,
Let's just say that.
let's just say Auburn's got a pretty good running back coming in next
Yeah,
year.
for sure. Chief, who do you got? What do you got for what the fuck?
All right, so some of you may have heard of this team, maybe not, considering they only sold 17 tickets.
White Sox.
The Chicago White Sox had 17 paid tickets to a game this week.
That's because everyone's scared to dodge bullets getting there. So
No, they've won like 28 games all year.
that too. Yeah. Okay.
Let's see. I got to go to Warzone. My team sucks. Yeah, no, I'm not.
I'm staying home. What the fuck, Mountain Mama?
Piggybacking on Chiefs What the Fuzz, my What the Fuzz up a couple miles up the road in Charlotte. You can buy a ticket for the Carolina Panthers home opener against the Chargers for $1.80. What the fuck is going on in Charlotte?
David Tepper's what's going on. And for as long as he's the owner, I hope they never win another game.
That is 81 cents too much.
All right. So
$2 too much.
Yeah.
I would say
I should get free beer and popcorn to go there.
I'll say one thing about this show. It was fun. Keep on listening every week to Guys in the Bar Talk Sports.